you know, lately I've been riding the XDiavo and my WR250R a lot. And I think now we need to focus the attention on, you know, Superbike and super sports stuff. You know, I've owned a Superbike, the CBR 1000RR, for over 4 years, and previous to this bike I owned a CBR 600RR, which is considered a super sport, for over 3 years. I actually owned the 600RR and 1000RR together at the same time for a period of time before I sold the 600RR for my lovely and awesome and #1 bike. But you know what? After owning a super sport and super bike for a number of years, I'm going to tell you what I've learned, and, you know, 5 reasons why you probably shouldn't buy a super bike or super sport.
Let's go for a ride. You are watching CycleCruza's all-in-one motorcycle channel. Subscribe today. Continue to leave video suggestions, but you may find what you're looking for by visiting my website at CycleCruza.com and click on the menu tab My Videos. And those are a bunch of playlists with all of my videos categorized in them to make it easier for you to navigate through.
Guys, for those of you guys who want to get my gear, you know, my camo pants, my helmet, boots, tools, everything, I always include links in the description and comment section of my videos. Oh, baby, I love being on the CBR. Woo! Feels good, baby. But anyways, the #1 thing that I've learned since owning a super bike and super sport for a number of years is that actually it's more fun riding, you know, a slow bike fast than it is a fast bike slow. Woo! I'm on my WR250. Ah, baby, I'm having fun out here. I mean, riding this bike out here, look at this. I'm doing less than 80 miles an hour. And you know what? You could do this on you could do this on a 250, guys, and you'll probably have more fun doing it because the bikes, 250s are a lot, and, you know, 300s and 400s, non-super bike and super sports are a lot lighter, a lot more nimble, more fun in the corners. You can whip them around. And I'll tell you guys that a liter bike really is overkill. These super bikes and super sports are overkill for the streets, man. You know, I bought this bike for the channel because a lot of you guys told me, like, CycleCruza, man, you ought to get the liter bike, get the super bike, man. It's got better low-end power, dude. It's faster. You'll be cooler. You know, you'll get more respect out here on the streets, dude. Come on, man. Gotta get rid of that stupid 600, dude. I said, okay, I'll get it for you guys. Yeah, I love this bike, but I'll tell you, the low-end power is a lot better. Not a lot, but it is, I guess, you know, much better than the 600RRs for the pull. But you can, all you have to do is do a sprocket change. Put a bigger sprocket on the rear on your 600, man. You'll be fine, dude. And you'll enjoy it being lighter in weight, more nimble. And but even for the 600RR, it's too much for the streets, man. It's too much. You don't even use, most of us don't even use the power of these bikes at all on the street. And if you are using the power to its full potential out here on the highway, where you're just cranking it in a straight line, hyper boost on. We're doing 150 plus miles per hour. It just really, you're an idiot, to be honest with you, man. You know, because it's a high chance you're probably gonna lose your license, possibly. But I know a lot of you guys are slick with it, and you ride with a bunch of riders, and if the police come, you just haul butt and they can't catch you. And just better pray they don't send a chopper out on you guys, because they will get you no matter what you're riding. You can be riding a Hayabusa and they go get you if they really want to. A lot of the times the cops don't even, they just don't feel like dealing with it, you know. But I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, how often do you go out on the highway? It's not like every day you're riding your bike. You go out on the highway and you're lighting it up 150 plus miles per hour every single day all the time you ride. That's probably a very small percentage of your riding. Most of your riding is out here on the streets, maybe on the country roads, twisties and stuff like that. You only can go so fast in the corners on the street. And if you're doing 100 plus miles per hour around a corner on the street, you're just idiotic. You're just a moron, man, because you got gravel, and like I told you guys, rodents fly across the road. Hey! I seen it all. Your tire slides out, set you up for a real day. Number 2, why I say you probably shouldn't get a super bike, honestly, is because the heat, man. These bikes, the super sports and super bikes, 600s, 1000s, 750s, you know, all the super sports and super bikes, they produce a lot of heat, man. These suckers are sitting up at like 200 plus, you know, degrees Fahrenheit. You get a lot of heat radiating from the engine. Some of you guys that have the tailpipe underneath the seat, except for the 600RR doesn't produce heat at the seat with the tailpipe. But I hear some other people that have issues with the heat at, you know, because of exhaust. Also, the engine puts a lot of heat on you. In the summertime, man, this gets hot. You know what I'm saying? You're wearing leathers out here, boy. Even if you're wearing, for those of you squids out there that are wearing shorts, you know, that it heats your legs up, boy. It just, it's not that comfortable, you know. But this, I'll be honest with you, this CBR 1000RR doesn't produce, you don't feel heat like I did with the 600RR. It seemed like that bike produced way more. I felt way more heat at my legs. This one is not that big of a deal, but for most super sports and super bikes, you're gonna feel a lot of heat, you know. But number 3 is the insurance is really high very expensive on these bikes. You know, out of my 3 bikes, guys, this is the most expensive. This set sucker cost me like, it's only $480 something or something like that. But I know you guys think it's CycleCruza, that's cheap, man. But you know, if you're over the age of 25, it does drop. But here in Ohio, we only can ride like 6 months out of the year. I mean, yeah, I ride a few days in the winter time, but for the most part, most of our rides are relegated to spring, summer, and fall. Winter time, we really can't do much riding out here, so that's why it's a lot cheaper out here. We probably don't have as many motorcycle accidents out here compared to like California, Florida, the warmer states where there's probably a lot more riders. So the 4th point here is that they're really not a great choice for street riding because of the riding position. I think you guys already know that. And when I first got this bike, I used to do videos and tell you guys, man, the riding position is comfortable and all that, and I'd be like, dude, you're a pansy if you complain about the riding position. But I've gotten spoiled on the X Diablo and my WR250R with the upright riding position, and I tell you, it is so much better being up, you know, with your hands up riding. It is more comfortable, it's more fun, you know, getting on that throttle, and you're still having a good time. Like, you know, with the X Diablo, I have the Superbike power on that bike, but yet ultra comfort. You know, I just don't like the feet forward design that much. I feel too vulnerable, you know. I don't like my legs up like that, man. I don't like that feeling, you know. I like my leg down with my legs on the mid. I like the mid pegs. I feel like I could jump off the bike if I want to, you know. I'll tell you guys that for those of you that never ridden a super bike or super sport, but I know for the other guys, you're going to want to experience this bike and you know, these super bikes and super sports, and I tell you, do it. I want you to experience all the different bikes out there, guys, all of them. That's what it's all about. It's just having fun with the different bikes. You know, you may be a super bike rider. You may be the type that really loves aggressive riding position, and if you do a lot of track days, then obviously the super bike and super sport is the perfect choice for it. You know, ride street and track. But like 95% of us, we don't ride track. Most of us don't. You know, most of us ride the streets out here. And to be honest with you, you're going to get more value and have more fun on a smaller bike. Like I said, that adage is true. Riding a fast bike slow is not as fun as riding a slow bike fast. honestly. But I tell you, it is really awesome. I love riding this bike though, because I feel at one with the bike. But anyways, the fifth reason why I think you shouldn't buy a super bike is, at least a negative for me, is that I don't like fairings. I don't like, as far as working on the bike, I hate taking the fairings off of this bike. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the fairings really don't reduce rider fatigue all that much like people want you to believe. I own, like I said, you know, I own the Ducati X Diavolo, you know, naked cruiser, the WR250R. I don't have any fairings protection. I ride it out here on the streets, you know, anywhere from I'll ride it from anywhere from like 2 to 8 hours out of the day. And I ride it a mix of highway, street, everything. And you don't hear me complaining about any rider fatigue or the wind's a problem and all that BS. Now stop being a pansy about it. I don't know. I'd love to know what riders out there that really get irritated by, you know, hate riding a naked bike because of the wind. Maybe it's because maybe you're wearing an open face helmet or something and you're getting blasted by the wind. Get your full face helmet, man. You can put a windscreen on your naked bike if you want to. That'll divert the air up over your head. So I think that's such BS that people keep bringing up about the wind being a factor with non-fairings bikes. I feel the wind right now is hitting me right now with fairings on this bike. To me, it doesn't feel any different at all. But there you go, guys. That's what I've learned. You know, I'm just sharing my experience, you know, with the super sport super bike, and tell you guys, it's really not an ideal choice for those of you that don't ride track. It's, you know, let's keep it real. But I do love the power, but you can get the power on the Street Fighters nowadays, and you know, so you don't need a super sport, a super bike, guys. You definitely don't need a super bike.
Thumbs up, check out my playlist for new riders and popular videos. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and check out my other channel, Bug Out Moto, where I customize a van for my motorcycle so I can live in my van with my motorcycle and travel across the country anywhere. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bug Out Moto.